Welcome back to Everyman Prepping, and this video is going to be our second video going off of the Survival SOP video series that we're doing. And that stands for Survival Standard Operating Procedures. What are your procedures for when there's a survival event and emergency? The first video I did, we went through mine that I have here written down, printed out because you need a hard copy, of all the sections inside of my SOP. There's about 24 of them, went through them briefly, kind of giving an idea what needs to be in your SOP. And in these follow-on videos, we're going to take 2 or 3 sections at a time, break them down, go through them in detail, so then you can start writing yours, or add to yours, or change yours, or whatever you want to do. Now, that being said, what I have is what I do, what works for me. As I start this channel, the Everyman Prepping, it's for the everyman, the common, it's not the high-speed operator, all that. So I find out this stuff works for me. Take what you will from it. In the comments below, suggest things. I always update mine. I'd love to update it if you have great suggestions. Other people would like it as well. But like I said, it's a standard SOP I think every man could use and incorporate into their family, their mag, their group, or whatever you want to call it. Now this video, we're going to start talking about the first few sections, and they're going to be the analyzing the threat. What just happened? What's the emergency? Then we're going to gather intel. So how we're going to gather intel on it. They're going to go through rally points in case we're not all together in this emergency. And then finally, code words, challenge and passwords, some security stuff. So those are the sections I want to go through today. And the first one we're going to go through is we're going to go through analyzing the threat. And like I said, if you have any comments on these about how you analyze, how you gather intel, write them down below. And while you're doing that, go ahead and hit that, that like button and, subscribe if you haven't done so as well. So analyzing the threat, what just happened? So the reason you want to analyze the threat as to what happens, you want to know if it's going to be a short-term event or long-term. You're going to take different actions based on short-term and long-term. And then short-term can mean different things to different people. Some people might think short-term is 1 day, everything else is long-term. I think it's 3 to 5 days is short-term. When you get towards a week, you're going into a long-term event. But, food, water, security, all that stuff, what you're going to do for each one of those categories is going to be different between a short-term and long-term. So you need to figure that out. You need to analyze that. And if it's a natural disaster, it's going to be a little more easier. That's the first thing is, if it's a fire, flood, earthquake, even civil unrest, anything like that, you're going to be in it. You're going to know, is this fire a long-term thing because the whole town just burned down, so it's pretty bad. It's going to be a long haul before we get our services back. Or is it short-term because it's a, minor flood? I got, 2-3 feet of water, but it's going to recede in a day. Then we just have cleanup. So natural disasters and civil unrest even, if a riot is happening or something's going on in the day or so, you're going to know pretty quick on that if it's long-term or short-term. Now, the other instances that happens if it's not a natural disaster or civil unrest is usually a grid down type. Is it a hack? Is it just a car drove into a transformer, knocked it down? Like I said, cyber attack. Is it a CME? Is it an EMP? Is it something else that happened to the grid, overload, whatever? That's usually the biggest thing is the power's out. So then you determine, is it a short-term power outage or long-term? You go through, you check your breakers, you look at your neighbors, are they out? Is it something as simple as that? You try to get and find out from the power company if they can give you a time frame for it to be fixed. Can you even get hold of that power company? Maybe it's going to be long-term then. And also you can also tell when I did a video on what gets destroyed or damaged between a CME and an EMP. I'll link that down below as well. Also put something up here. But it gives you an idea. In a CME, the small electronics, like, the phone, the ham radios, those will all work. Even your vehicle work, in a CME, according to Dr. Arthur Bradley, who we looked at his video and saw what he put out. But the grid will go down. It might go down for over a year. So that's still going to be long-term effect, even though you have little things that work. Now, if your car doesn't start, your cell phone doesn't work, nothing works, you pretty much know you're in for the long haul because there's probably an EMP at that time. Cyber attack, your local stuff's going to work because the grid just went down. So, you need to determine longer, short term on that as well. But that's what you do. You analyze the threat, what it was, where it came from, in short term, long term. Then we move on to gathering intel. Okay, so we got to look, where we're going to get more information because, information is power. Knowledge is power, right? We need to know more information. And this isn't everybody in the group or the family doing this. This is probably one person. Their job is to gather intel, while the other people are going through the rest of the stuff in the SOP according to long-term, short-term, as to what they need to do. So the gather intel person, go to the internet. Okay, you lost power. How are you going to go to the internet? Well, hopefully you have solar backup, you have a generator, something where you can power that wireless router, whatever you have to power your internet, and you see if you can get it fired up. Because you get that fired up, you can go to news sites, you can go to your power company, you can determine if it's a wide range blackout, if it's short term, long term, if it's multi-state, half the country, whatever. You'll get a lot of news if the internet works. The internet doesn't work, can't get on, might be a clue something else is happening. Next, if that doesn't work, you're going to get on your AM, FM radio, your shortwave radio, see if you can get some news over the radio, and then see if you can determine from there what's going on. Get on your ham radios. See if you can, if the ham relays are working and you can talk to other people far away, other, counties, other states, see what's going on. If those aren't working, you can't get anybody on ham, that's another clue, probably a widespread event. But keep that ham going. Now, if you have a ham radio set up where you can get to the super high frequencies, long distances, 40 meter, 100 meters, all those, you can, get worldwide coverage and maybe figure out if it's a worldwide event as well. That'd be something like a CME coming down. You also want to go, after that, if you have a hardwired phone, not just a cell phone, try that. You go to your neighbors. There's always a neighbor that knows someone that knows someone. There's usually a neighborhood person that is more the gossip person. You can go to and see what they know, see what they found out. Try to get your family and friends and see what information they have. You might have to do some legwork, but gather intel. You need to know and verify information, see what else is happening, and what this event entails, so you can then use the rest of SOP to do what you got to do to start your emergency survival recovery, basically, or ongoing existence. So that's your gathering information. Moving on from there, you want to go into rally points, because when this event happened, is your family, your mag, your group all in one spot? If so, great, you're already there. Most likely not, though, unless it happened at night, it's for your family. But let's say you're separated because your kids are at school and you're at work. Well, where's the rally point? The rally point means where are we meeting? The beginning of the event, where are we going to meet? Is it the house? Is it our bug out location? Is it a secondary location? Is it Fred's house? If we're in a mag, do we go to another location? Whatever it is, have a place that everybody knows where to go. If it's your children, you probably don't want them wandering around in a grid down event without you. So maybe they stay at the school. You've already told them what to do. They have markers or pencils or Sharpies in their backpack, and you've already designated a spot, whether it be on the side of the cafeteria, you write, in code, and we'll get to the code in a minute, what their code name is, and the room number they're in, or where they're at, or if they had to leave, where they went. They wrote that down, then you know where to get them, from that point. You got to work this all out ahead of time, quiz your kids, make sure they know what to do. If adult types or adult children, if they're out at their rally point, they need to come home when something happens, and you want to go out and make sure they're out. You know what route, you've worked out a route that they will take from wherever they're at usually to where they're going, or a standard route to get. And along the route, you have stop signs and street signs, and you've come up with a system that they also have a pen or marker, and they write on the signs. They put a symbol, whatever your family symbol is, they come up with, and a direction or a code that means where they're headed. So they've been to that spot and they're headed that way, or they've passed it, or they haven't gone to there. A system like that, so they know how to get to where they're going. If you're all together but you're not home, it's your rally point, your house, and you get there as a group. Could be that. You want to have backup rally points. You want to have primary, secondary, all that. But come up with a rally point system, code system, how you know where people are at, and a message system. That's the rally point section in brief. Like I said, if you have any suggestions, please add them down below. Next, after rally points, we're going to go into the last thing I want to talk about, and that's code words, challenge, and password. So code words are something you can use with your family or your group that you put in a sentence or a phrase, and they mean certain things. That means only something to you, but to the general public, it's just like you're saying something. A lot of easy things to do with are things with food or places. Like say, gave example in the last video is like licorice. Dad hates licorice. Let's say black licorice. So, but that's a code word. If Dad says black licorice, it means there's an imminent threat here. We need to. The kids know that they need to go to the safe room, or they need to take defensive posture, whatever it may be. And it could be something as, hey guys, I'd love to have some black licorice right now. Can you go get it for me? Well, the kids know that we don't have black licorice in the house. We don't like it. They head to their safe spot. They get their defensive tools if they're trained. Whatever may happen, the wife does the same, or the spouse, the husband, whoever it is, they take action while you're, the person dealing with the threat at the beginning. The other code words can mean something like you think a threat's coming or the situation's getting a little sketchy, and it could be cantaloupe. Cantaloupe is, boy, I'd really like to get some cantaloupe. You're out you're out at a park or something, and you say, yeah, man, it would be nice if we had some cantaloupe right now. Okay, everybody knows, take a heightened posture. They're looking around. Maybe you pull the group together. You head towards the car. Wherever it is, no one else knows what you're talking about, but you do. So those are code words. Come up with a bunch of those, whatever situation you want, whatever they mean. Practice them, quiz people, works for a mag, for anybody. Now, you can also, besides the words, you can have hand and arm signals, big in the military. What's this mean? What does this mean? What is this? Whatever you want to use, it means things. It can mean the same thing as words because you can't speak, but you can do signals. So come up with hand and arm signals that mean stuff to you and your mag or your family. You can also use, if you're good at whistling or mouth noises, that works as well, as long as it's repeatable and understandable, and other ones can do the same themselves. But mouth sound noises are also good to have. So have those code words worked out for what they mean. And you only need a few for emergencies. Usually a threat is coming, a threat is here, take action, one for maybe run, one to go to a rally point. Whatever you need, come up with those, because during emergency situation, you're going to need some code words where you can talk privately in the open, with your family or group. Last point, challenge password system. It's also a challenge password and distress signal is what you want to have. It's used also, come from the military. As you know, I have a military background, so a lot of my SOP comes from being in the Army previously. But you want to come up with you're going to challenge someone by giving them a word in a phrase. They're going to give a password to you in a phrase, and they're friendly or someone that you trust. And there's also a distress word that you can add in, meaning either you're under distress and they should leave and they can go try to get help, or they're under distress and don't let them into the place or give them assistance or something else. And it works like you can come up with, now I just picked one here really quick, and you can come up with one like cat, bird, and frog. So cat's the challenge, bird is the password, frog is the distress signal, let's say. So, someone comes up to your property, you don't know if they're friendly or not, you've given out to a few people that you trust, and you just want to make sure that they're still trustworthy. So you say, you want to challenge them and say, man, I just saw a cat cross the road. Okay, that's pretty innocuous. And then maybe they come back with, I wonder if he was chasing a bird. All right, so the challenge was met with the password, friendly, come in, that kind of thing. Works good with mags. In a family, you're going to know who's friendly or not, but it can be used in situations like that. Now, if you're under distress, this is how it can work with the family, whether it's expanded or not, and they're coming to see you, and they're coming to you under distress, and they want to let you in on that without, they could be being watched by, someone that's putting them under distress, and they don't want to bring you into it, and they want the help from you. So that'd be like, hey, I saw a cat walk across the road, and they might come back with, I wonder if it was chasing a bird or a frog. So they just said the distress. Now you know that they're under distress, and you're aware to it, and you can do whatever you planned or trained to do when that happens. Same can happen if you're just given the challenge. Like, hey, I saw a cat going across the road. I think he was going after a frog. And they might say, oh, it could have been a bird. So they know you're both friendly, but they know you're under distress. Something's happening, maybe at the house or wherever you're at, and they can either go for help or they do whatever you've trained to do. It's the challenge password distress signal system. Come with it. It's easy to change. It could change daily. You could have the whole thing worked out if you think it's compromised. But it's a good system to use for vetting people and also for letting people know if you're under distress. So those are the categories I wanted to go through today. Like I said, if you have anything else to add for those, as a quick summary, we analyze the threat for short-term, long-term. Most important thing to do right away, because it's going to detail what the rest of our SOP is. Divided up between, we'll do this in short-term, we'll do this in long-term for food, water, security, all that. You've gathered intel. Someone's going to all the intel sources, seeing what else is going on, what is happening, what's the government doing, what are they not doing most likely, and on from there. And then we set up our rally point. We know we're all supposed to meet back at the house. Oh, but the kids were there. Okay, I got to go get them. They know where to meet. I'm going to get there. There's going to be a message. I know where to find them. We're going to get back. Or we're all meeting at the house, and we're going to look at the local road signs to see who's on the way here. So we're rallying. And then we have challenge and password and family group code words to talk in code when we're out in public, to keep us all safe and to pass safety distress messages to each other. So hopefully you got something out of this. There'll be more coming. Like I said, we got about 24 of these. There'll be more videos coming, and each one I hope you gather something and you learn something. And until next time, Keep your ear to the ground and head on a swivel.